Welcome to OET Writing Live presented by Tiju Academy. So very warm good evening to each and everyone out there. So I was just taking my couple of minutes so that viewers can join with us. Good evening. So very warm good evening to yet another live session presented by Tiju Academy. And for today's topic, as you people can see, I have mentioned it on the screen as how to write a letter to a lactation consultant. So the lactation consultant letter how we can write a letter to a lactation consultant. Okay, that's our topic of discussion for today's live. Hi Nisha, good evening. Olivia, good evening and welcome to the session. Hi Neetu, how are you? I am doing good. Yeah, thank you so much for asking. I hope you're also doing good. Olivia, you're going to have your exam on this March 23rd. All right. Yeah, definitely. We will definitely keep everyone in our prayers. So all the very best. Be confident and may you crack your exam in this attempt itself and do well. Okay. Hi Sunny, good evening and welcome. And please let us know when you crack the exam. Share your results with us as well. Hi Deepa, good evening everyone. You're always welcome, dear. Thank you. All right, so are you guys ready? Shall we start? Hi Bruna, hi everyone. Yes, Sharon, James, good evening everyone. All right, so let's begin our today's session that is regarding how to write a letter to a lactation consultant. So the lactation consultant engane oru letter edutha. Okay, hi Aaron, good evening. Okay. So, see, when it comes to an OET writing, it is quite natural that we can expect multiple readers of as our letters for our letter. നമ്മുടെ ഒരു ലെറ്ററിന് നമുക്ക് മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ റീഡേഴ്സിനെ എക്സ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാം ബിക്കോസ് ഈവൻ ഇൻ ദ nurse category itself, there are in situations where we need to write a letter to a nurse, registered nurse, community nurse, nurse in charge, head nurse, tissue viability nurse category തന്നെ there will be a lot of readers. അത് കൂടാതെ ഡോക്ടേഴ്സിന് we are writing the letters, specialists we are writing the letters, cardiology എഴുതാറുണ്ട്, we are writing a letter to a neurologist, so doctor category തന്നെ എഴുതാറുണ്ട്, and we are even writing letter to someone who is not from the medical background. For example, writing a letter to a social worker or writing a letter to a shelter home manager. ഒരു ഷെൽട്ടർ ഹോമിൻ്റെ മാനേജറിന് ഒരു ലാക്ടേഷൻ ഒരു സോഷ്യൽ വർക്കറിന് എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുമ്പോൾ ദർ ആർ പീപ്പിൾ ദോസ് പീപ്പിൾ ആർ നോട്ട് ഈവൻ ഫ്രം ദ മെഡിക്കൽ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ട്. സോ നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ തരത്തിലുള്ള ആൾക്കാർക്കും എന്ത് ചെയ്യേണ്ടി വരുന്നു, ലെറ്റർ എഴുതേണ്ടി വരുന്നു. സോ ഇറ്റ്സ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് ഫോർ us ടു ഗെറ്റ് ഫെമിലിയർ വിത്ത് മാക്സിമം ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് റീഡേഴ്സ്. സോ പല ടൈപ്സ് ഓഫ് റീഡേഴ്സുമായിട്ട് ഫെമിലിയർ ആവുക എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ ഹെൽപ്പിംഗ് ആസ് ഇൻ സം വേ ടു കൺസ്ട്രക്ട് എ പ്രോപ്പർ letter. So that's why I took this particular letter where the reader of this letter, or we are writing this letter to a lactation consultant. Okay, so let's get started with our today's letter. So first of all, we are going to have a letter discussion. നമുക്കിപ്പോൾ എന്താണ് ഒരു letter discussion ചെയ്യാൻ പോവാണ്. And once we complete the discussion, we will organize it very smoothly, and I'll ask you people to write it all by yourself so that you could improve your letter writing. Okay. Hi Angel, good afternoon to you. Glad to see you here. Okay, so you are Joanna Peter, maternal and child health nurse working in the Greenwood Community Health Service. So community child health service. So here it is mentioned that the writer of a letter is a maternal and child health nurse. നമ്മുടെ ലെറ്ററിൻ്റെ റൈറ്റർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആരാണ്? മെറ്റേണൽ ആൻഡ് ചൈൽഡ് ഹെൽത്ത് നേഴ്സാണ്. Here it is mentioned. Okay, and today's date. So today's date is also mentioned here. That is 17th September 2020. So today's date part is also mentioned. And when it comes to the patient history, Patient history വന്നിട്ട് baby boy and his name is Aiden Freddy. Hi Nishna, Surya, Rajiv. Good evening and welcome to the session. Okay, so the patient history says the name of the baby is an Aiden Freddy, and his date of birth is June 6th August 2020. So 6th August 2020 is the date of birth of the patient, and today's date is 17th September 2020. So hardly this baby is of 2 months. ഏകദേശം ഒരു 1.5 months old. So born in the month of August and today's date is September. So hardly it is like more than slightly over 1 month. ഒരു 1 monthil മാത്രം എന്താണ് ഏജ് ഉള്ള ഒരു ബേബിയാണ്. ആൻഡ് ബോൺ ഗ്രീൻവുഡ് മെറ്റേണിറ്റി ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ. പേഷ്യൻ്റ് എവിടെയാണ് ജനിച്ചത്? ദാറ്റ്സ് ഇൻ ദ ഗ്രീൻവുഡ് മെറ്റേണിറ്റി ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ. ഫസ്റ്റ് ബേബി ഓഫ് മാൻ ആൻഡ് ട്വിങ്കിൾ ഫ്രെഡി. So first baby of Man and Twinkle Freddy means that's the name of the baby's parents. Twinkle Freddyയുടെ first babyയാണ് ഈ ഏതൻ ഫ്രെഡി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ദ അഡ്രസ് ഓഫ് ദ ഹൗസ് ഇസ് ഓൾസോ മെൻഷൻ വൈറ്റ്ഫീൽഡ് സ്ട്രീറ്റ് ഗ്രീൻവുഡ് 7060. And the discharge date, that is on 10th August 2020. So the baby was born on 6th August 2020. After 4 days, that is on 10th August 2020, the patient got discharged from the hospital. Hospital എന്തായി ഡിസ്ചാർജ് ആയി. സോ ഇതുവരെ നമ്മൾ എന്തൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു? ദ റൈറ്റർ ഇസ് മെറ്റേണൽ ആൻഡ് ചൈൽഡ് ഹെൽത്ത് നേഴ്സ്, ആൻഡ് ടുഡേയ്സ് ഡേറ്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് 17 September 2020, ആൻഡ് ദ നെയിം ഓഫ് ദ പേഷ്യൻറ്റ് ഇസ് ഏതൻ ഫ്രെഡി, ആൻഡ് ദ ഡേറ്റ് ഓഫ് ബർത്ത് ഓഫ് ദ പേഷ്യൻറ്റ് ഇസ് ഓൾസോ പ്രൊവൈഡഡ്, ആൻഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ ബർത്ത് ദ പേഷ്യൻറ്റ് വാസ് ഡിസ്ചാർജ് ഓൺ 10th August 2020. And again it is mentioned that this Aiden Freddy is the first baby of his parents and ആദ്യത്തെ കുട്ടിയാണ് ഏതൻ ഫ്രെഡി. These are the things that we have discussed so far. Now we'll move on to the next area. That is about the family history of the patient. Mother is age 22. So then his mother has 22 years old, and that's his first child. And father is 25 years old, graphic designer, currently away from home on duty. So his father is 25 years old and he is not here in home വീട്ടിൽ ഇല്ല. So birth history, birth weight of the patient is also mentioned here, 3350. And ABGA score at 5 minutes 9, that is also mentioned. No antenatal or postnatal complication. So the patient doesn't have, or the baby doesn't have any antenatal or postnatal complication. So family history, they have mentioned about his mother, father, birth weight, and the rest of the things are irrelevant because there is no antenatal complication or postnatal complication. So if there is nothing to be mentioned as complication, then we don't even need to write about it. നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല, എഴുതേണ്ട കാര്യവുമില്ല. Now we will move on to the next area, that is 17 September 2020. Here the today's date is also 17 September 2020. So the incident is happening on the day of 17 September 2020, which means the baby born on 6th June 2020, and on 6th August, the baby born on 6th August 2020 and was discharged on 10th August 2020. 6th August born, 10th August the patient got discharged from the hospital, and after almost 1 month, that is 17 September 2020, the patient is approaching us. And where the patient is approaching us, we are in a community child health service. So the patient is approaching us in a community health service. The community child health service lana നമ്മുടെ patient approach ചെയ്യുന്നത്, and the name is maternal and child health nurse. And the name of the writer is maternal and child health nurse. So let's see what happened on September. Subjective. Twinkle and baby attended for routine 6-week checkup. So after giving birth, the baby and his mother attended for a routine checkup. Twinkle says, which means the mother says, she is concerned about constipation once every 3 days and hard stool. So the mother is concerned about the hard stool or the constipation of the patient. So that's why mother is asking about stool softener or prune juice for baby. So mother evide endana chodikkunnathu, they are asking for requesting a stool softener or prune juice for the baby. So today the mother took this baby to a clinic or maternal child health service center, and she said that she is concerned about the constipation of the child and she is requesting a stool softener for the baby. And this has happened on the day of this has happened today, that is 17 September 2020. Now the next thing, breastfed for first 3 weeks after birth. So the baby was breastfed. Breastfeed past tense ആണ് breastfed എന്ന് പറയുന്ന word. Actually breastfed is the past tense of the verb breastfeed. So the patient was, or the child was, breastfed for how many days? For 3 weeks after birth. So that has happened. So not today. The breastfeed first 3 weeks means something that happened earlier. നേരത്തെ നടന്ന ഒരു കാര്യത്തിനെയാണ് ഇവിടെ എന്ത് പറയുന്നത്? breastfeed for first 3 weeks after birth എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. And breastfeed എല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞ് സെപ്റ്റംബർ 17 പേഷ്യൻ്റ് മെറ്റേണൽ ചൈൽഡ് ആൻഡ് ഹെൽത്ത് സർവീസിൽ വരുന്നു. അമ്മ പറയുന്നു ഷീ ഈസ് കൺസേൺഡ് അബൌട്ട് ബേബീസ് കോൺസ്റ്റിപ്പേഷൻ ആൻഡ് റിക്വസ്റ്റിംഗ് എ സ്റ്റൂൾ സോഫ്റ്റ്നർ. Now let's see the rest of this letter. Baby became unsettled during summer heat wave in August. So the mother is telling that the baby born in the month of August, so during the summer heat wave, the baby was unsettled, which means most probably the baby must be crying continuously. Unsettled ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? ഇറിറ്റേറ്റഡ് ആണ്. സോ സമ്മർ ഹീറ്റ് വേവിൻ്റെ സമയത്ത് ബേബി ഇറിറ്റേറ്റഡ് ആയിരുന്നു. And Twinkle got sick and had fever for few days. So that is why they told earlier that she breastfed for first 3 weeks. So once the baby is born, the mother breastfed the baby for first 3 weeks. Mother 3 ആഴ്ച ബേബീനെ ബ്രസ്റ്റ് ഫീഡ് ചെയ്തു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് why it stopped after 3 weeks? Because Twinkle got sick and had fever for few days. And mother-in-law, that is Emma Freddy. Mother-in-law means mother-in-law എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ that is the relation with Twinkle Freddy. പക്ഷേ നമ്മളുടെ പേഷ്യൻ്റ് ഇവിടെ ആരാണ്? ഏതൻ ഫ്രെഡി. സോ ഏതൻ ഫ്രെഡിക്ക് ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് mother-in-law but it's grandmother. So his grandmother came to visit and advised changing baby to formula feed. So grandmother told that it's better to change the baby to formula feed because his mother is having fever, so she won't be able to breastfeed. So the grandmother suggested to shift the baby to the formula feed. And Emma advised extra powder in formula feed to improve weight gain. So she also said along with formula feed you have to give extra powder for weight gain. For weight gain you have to give the extra powder. This is what the grandmother told his mother. So Twinkle worried she does not have enough breast milk and now gives extra formula feed as well as breastfeeding. And Ethan has difficulty to bottle feed. So when the grandmother told his mother to add this breastfeed and everything, mother was actually concerned about not having enough breast milk and now gives extra feeds as well as breastfeeding. So and Ethan also has difficulty in bottle feeding. Ethan എന്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നു? ബോട്ടിൽ ഫീഡിങ്ങിൽ ഡിഫിക്കൽറ്റി ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. So Twinkle wishes to breastfeed properly. So basically അമ്മയ്ക്ക് പനി ആയതുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടി മദർ-ഇൻ-ലോ ഗ്രാൻഡ് എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞു? കുട്ടിയുടെ ഗ്രാൻഡ് പറഞ്ഞു better to change the baby to formula feed. But the amma was not ready for that. കാരണം അമ്മ basically wants to breastfeed the baby. And Ethan has difficulty to bottle feed as well. So the last line, Emma Freddy plans to stay with the family for at least further month to help with baby. Emma planned to stay with the family and there was tensions between mother and mother-in-law. All these things were happened. Now, objective. Objective means the data that we have analyzed. Reflexes normal. So when we analyze the patient, his reflexes were normal. No abnormal tenderness. If there is no abnormal tenderness, we don't need to write about that. Reflexes normal, that is also we don't need to write that. So the only point that we have to take it from this particular line is slightly lethargic. So on observation, he was slightly lethargic. Now, heart rate 172, respiration 156, temperature 31, weight 400. 4,300. 3 wet nappies in last 24 hours. So the patient had 3 wet nappies, had only 3 wet nappies in 24 hours. See, ഒരു ഡേയിൽ 2 month ഉള്ള കുട്ടി 3 wet nappies ullu, which means he doesn't produce much urine. So that's why he was having only 3 wet nappies. And his urine was also dark in color. Urine എങ്ങനെയായിരുന്നു? Dark കളറിലുമായിരുന്നു. And the assessment says mild constipation and dehydration. So what's the condition of the patient? Mild constipation and dehydration. And the plan increase. So what is the plan for the baby? Since the baby is having mild constipation and dehydration, he was asked to increase the breastfeed. Refer to breastfeeding support service. Breastfeed കൂട്ടുക, breastfeeding support serviceലോട്ട് refer ചെയ്യുക. Check if formula is correctly prepared. Check whether the formula is correctly prepared. So breastfeed കൂട്ടുക, formula is correctly prepared ആണോ നോക്കുക. If continue formula feed, advise to supplement it with cool boiled water. Advice on keeping baby cool in hot weather. During hot weather, keep the baby cool. And he has a review in 48 hours. And the patient is having, or the baby is having a review or a follow-up in 48 hours. So this is about the plan for the letter. And the writing task says, write a referral letter to Lactation Consultant at the Breastfeeding Support Service, 41 Emperor Street, Greenwood. So ഈ പ്രശ്നങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉള്ളത് കൊണ്ട് ബ്രസ്റ്റ് ഫീഡ് കൂട്ടാനും ചെക്ക് ഫോർമുല ഫീഡ് നന്നായിട്ട് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്തോ in order to check whether the formula feed is correctly prepared for that purpose, and to advise the patient to supplement with water, and advice on keeping baby cool. All these things has to be done by whom? By the reader of our letter, that is none other than Lactation Consultant. So ഒരു ലാക്ടേഷൻ കൺസൾട്ടൻറ്റിനോട് ഈ കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നു. That is about the reader of the letter. Okay, so is the case note clear for you people? Case note clear ആണോ? Yes, okay. Now let's construct the letter. നമ്മൾക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാം? ലെറ്റർ ഒന്ന് കൺസ്ട്രക്ട് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം. Yes, thank you so much. Very good, guys. Thank you. Now, let's construct the letter one by one. Write a referral letter to Lactation Consultant. So, hi Akhila, good evening. Welcome. Yes. Jijin Varghese. Sini Binu. Yes, good evening everyone. Okay. Since you understood the letter, let's construct this letter. Okay, so what we have to do first of all, identify the patient. So who is the patient here? The patient is the baby boy, that is Ethan Freddy. And what is the details about the patient mentioned here? The date of birth of the patient is provided here. Exactly. And so patient ആരാന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഐഡൻറ്റിഫൈ ചെയ്തു, and the patient's date of birth is also provided. And considering the date of birth and today's date, we came to know that the baby is just hardly 1 month older. He's just slightly over 1 month older. That's the age of the patient. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to write a letter to the lactation consultant. ആർക്കാണ് ലെറ്റർ എഴുതേണ്ടത്? Lactation consultant ആണ്. So when we are collecting the data from this case note, we only need to focus on the data that is relevant for a lactation consultant. ഒരു lactation consultant relevant ആയിട്ടുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ മാത്രം നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്താൽ മതി? ഈ ഒരു ലെറ്ററിൽ എഴുതിയാൽ മതി. So let's see what all data are relevant for this particular lactation consultant. Here the plan is to increase the breastfeed. So the lactation consultant should make sure the breastfeed is increasing, or the frequency of breastfeed is increasing. That is the first plan. Then second one, refers to breastfeeding support service. Do we need to mention this point? ഈ ഒരു പോയിന്റ് നമ്മൾ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്യണോ? ബിക്കോസ് ബ്രസ്റ്റ് ഫീഡിങ് സപ്പോർട്ട് സർവീസിലെ ലാക്ടേഷൻ കൺസൾട്ടൻറ്റിനാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ലെറ്റർ എഴുതുന്നത്. we are writing this letter to a lactation consultant at the breastfeeding support service. So do we need to tell him again to refer the patient to a breastfeeding support service? That is not necessary. Is it clear? So we are writing a letter anyway to a breastfeeding support service. So do we need to tell him again to refer the patient? No, right? So this particular point should be eliminated. So the first thing that the lactation consultant has to do is to increase the frequency of breastfeeding. The second thing he has to do is check the formula is correctly prepared, whether the formula is correctly prepared. Third thing that he has to do is, if the patient is continuing with formula feed, advise to supplement with water. So the formula feed should be mixed with water. Then advice on keeping baby cool in hot weather. He has to advise someone to keep the baby cool in hot weather. So the main point of this letter is, here comes the main idea when it comes to this letter. Here, who is our patient? Then Freddy is the patient. But the lactation consultant has to provide the advice to his mother to keep the baby cool. Is it possible to advise a 1-month-old baby? 1-month-old ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു ബേബീനെ നമുക്ക് അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമോ? സോ ഈ ഒരു അഡ്വൈസും കണ്ടിന്യൂഷനും ഫോർമുല ഫീഡ് പ്രിപ്പറേഷനും അഡ്വൈസും എല്ലാം ആർക്കുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്? It is supposed to be for his mother. So we can only ask his mother to increase the breastfeed. How we can tell a 1-month-old baby? Is it clear so far? ഇതുവരെയുള്ള കാര്യം ക്ലിയർ ആണോ? Yes, exactly. Okay, so here is a situation. It's a rare situation that comes in OET letter where the patient is someone but the purpose is for someone else. ഇത് നമ്മൾക്ക് എന്താണ്? പേഷ്യൻ്റ് ഒരാളാണ്, പർപ്പസ് വേറൊരാൾക്ക്. This is the specialty of this letter as well. Okay? Alright. So now let's just construct the introduction first. Since we are referring the patient to a lactation consultant, how we can write? I am writing to refer. That is how we can write about the introduction. Then I am writing to refer. Who is our patient? Then Freddy. Since the patient is minor, we don't need to add the title. I am writing to refer then Freddy. Who requires advice? Is it correct? Who requires advice? Here, the advice is not for the patient but for the mother. So, how we can write is, I am writing to refer then Freddy, who has mild constipation, and dehydration. This is how we have to write the first letter of this letter, because here in the assessment it is mentioned that the patient is having mild constipation and dehydration. Okay, so the first line is, I am writing to refer then Freddy, who has mild constipation and dehydration. And in the next line of the introduction, what you have to write is, his mother requires education on feeding pattern or formula feed preparation. His mother requires education on feeding pattern or formula feed preparation. Is it clear? This is how we have to write an introduction where the patient is a person one and the purpose is for someone else. If the purpose of വേറൊരാൾക്കാണെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എങ്ങനെ എഴുതണം? I am writing to refer the patient, then connect the condition there. And the second line, his mother. Here he is mother. If his father, you can write it as his father. For sister, siblings ആരാണെങ്കിലും write the relation there. His mother requires education on. Here we have the lactation consultant is supposed to educate the mother regarding breastfeeding pattern and formula feed preparation. Aaron, his mother, Mrs. Twinkle Freddy, requires lactation advice and support. Education on, that is fine. Education and support regarding formula feed preparation. Here, it's not only about formula feed preparation, but about feeding pattern as well. Increase breastfeed. So how we can write education on breastfeeding pattern and formula feed preparation. She requires education on both breastfeeding and formula feed preparation. So ഒരു കാര്യം മാത്രം നമ്മൾ എഴുതല്ല, രണ്ട് കാര്യം എഴുതണം. And Aaron, his mother, Mrs. Twinkle Freddy. It is not mandatory to write the name of the mother over there, because the name Twinkle Freddy doesn't have a relevance over there. Here, what matters is Twinkle Freddy is the mother of Ethan Freddy. So that matters over there. I hope it is clear. Clear ayo? So breastfeed നമ്മൾ require purpose പറയുമ്പോൾ education on breastfeeding വേണം, education വേണം, formula feed preparation education വേണം. Breastfeeding and preparation of formula feed. Education on breastfeeding techniques and preparation of formula feed. Okay. I hope you people got the introduction. So introduction would be, I'm writing to refer Ethan Freddy, who has mild constipation and dehydration. His mother requires education on breastfeeding pattern and formula feed preparation. This is how we can construct the introduction over there. I hope it is clear. Now, let's move on to the body paragraph of this letter. This letter's body paragraph like namakku pogam. So when it comes to the body paragraph of the letter, either you can start by mentioning social history, or you can mention about the present condition. So these are the two ways that we can write a referral letter. Either you can start with history, or you can start with present condition. Hi Akshara, happy to see you here. Mother's name is not necessary because Twinkle Freddy has no relevance over there. She has importance over there because she's the mother of Ethan Freddy. So the relation matters. Yes, good evening and welcome. Okay, so we were talking about the body paragraph. So let's see the body social part first. So here it is mentioned that Ethan is the first child of Twinkle Freddy. So is it relevant for a lactation consultant? Ethan is the first child of Twinkle Freddy, because that's the only social element that we can take from this place, from this slide information. Ethan is the first child of lactation, Twinkle Freddy. Is it relevant? What do you people think? Is it relevant? Yes, exactly. Very good, Deepa. Yes, because Ethan is the first child of Twinkle Freddy. That is a relevant point over here, and we need to make the lactation consultant aware of it. Sorry, Deepa, but that's a relevant point. Okay? Because the mother is having issues with the formula feed preparation, because Ethan is the first child. So ഒരു പ്രാവശ്യം കുട്ടി ഉണ്ടായി, if she is having multiple child, she will be having experience. So since this is the first child, she doesn't have much experience. That is why all these issues are happening. So the lactation consultant should know that this is their first child and the mother doesn't have much experience. So first baby of Matt and Twinkle Freddy, this is completely a relevant point. Okay, so we should start with the social history for this letter, because the lactation consultant should be aware that this is the first child എന്നവർ അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം. എന്നിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം പറയുമ്പോൾ അവിടെ കറക്റ്റ് ഒരു മീനിങ് വരുള്ളൂ. Then only it will convey the proper meaning. That's why all this complication is happening. Okay, so we have to start this letter by mentioning the social history. So what is the social history? Other element that we can take, first baby of Matt and Twinkle Freddy. That is the first relevant point. Second point, what we can take, mother, first child, already we mentioned that. Father, the graphic designer, don't have any relation with lactation consultant. Birth weight is something that we can tell the lactation consultant. The birth weight, his current weight, his birth weight is 3350 gram, 3350 gram is his birth weight. So that is a relevant point because the patient is having, like breastfeeding issues. So obviously that will affect there's a chance that may affect the birth weight of the baby or whatever it is, or that may affect the current weight or birth weight. So this is considered to be a relevant point here. So നമുക്ക് എന്ത് പോയിന്റ് ഇത്ര എടുത്താൽ മതി? ഫസ്റ്റ് ലൈൻ ഓഫ് ദ ബോഡി പാരഗ്രാഫ് ഷുഡ് ബി ദ സോഷ്യൽ പാർട്ട്. സോഷ്യലിൻ്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് ലൈൻ എന്ത് വേണം? ഫസ്റ്റ് ചൈൽഡ്. We have to write the fact that Aiden is the first child of his parents. Second point is about the birth weight of Aiden. His birth weight is 3350. That is about the birth weight of the baby. Now, how about the discharge date? We don't need to write the discharge date over here. That is completely irrelevant, Bruna. Because, see, date of birth is 6th August 2020. Discharge date is 10th August 2020. This is not the admission of present situation. See, the baby was born on 6th August and after 4 days, the baby got discharged from the hospital. What is today's date? 17 September. And what it is mentioned that Twinkle and a baby attended for routine 6-week checkup. So after discharging from the hospital, after the delivery, the mother and baby is coming for a checkup in a child health service. So the discharge date is completely irrelevant. I hope it is clear for everyone. മനസ്സിലായോ എല്ലാവർക്കും? ഇതുവരെ ക്ലിയർ ആണോ? Yeah. So the discharge already happened and the baby and mother ഇപ്പോൾ എന്തിനു വന്നതാണ്? They just came here for a visit. Routine checkup, and that is also not in the hospital but in the child health service. I hope it is clear. So we can start with the social history, and the first line of the social history says is the first child of the parents. His birth weight is 3350 gram. So, and the rest, all this information and irrelevant. We only need to take the birth weight from here. Apgar score is not relevant for a lactation consultant. No antenatal or postnatal complication, so we can eliminate that part as well. Now, let's move on to the next area. That is 17 September 2020. That is the today's date. So, what happened today? So, today, baby and mother attended for checkup. And mother says baby is having constipation and requested a stool softener. That happened on today. That happened today. That happened today itself. Now let's look at this information. Breastfeed for first 3 weeks after birth. So after birth, baby was breastfed for first 3 weeks. Is it present information or a past information? Could you please tell me that? Today they just came for a checkup and it's mentioned that baby was breastfed for first 3 weeks. Is it present or past? The baby born in the month of August. First 3 weeks means in the month of August itself. Today's date is September 17. So this breastfed for first 3 weeks after birth is a past information. So we wrote about the social history first, right? Social history, we told that first child. Second information was birth weight. Now we have to move on to the past medical history. After social history, we have to write the past medical history. So past medical history says he was breastfed for first 3 weeks. So past medical history endu parayanam? Aiden Freddy first child aanu, and birth weight idayirunnu. Adu kayinju past medical history says the baby was Aiden was breastfed for first 3 weeks after birth. So first point aayittu nammal endu cheyanam? Past medical history eludanam. Breastfed, that point should come first. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് പാസ്റ്റിലത്തെ കാര്യം. After breastfeeding for 3 weeks, what happened? Why they stopped the breastfeeding? his mother got sick and for few days. His mother got sick or his mother had fever. Either you can write his mother is sick or you can write his mother had fever. രണ്ട് രീതിയിലും എഴുതാം. സോ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരെണ്ണം മതി. സിക്കാണ് ഫീവർ ആണ് പറയുന്ന രണ്ടും സെയിം അല്ലേ? സോ ഹിസ് മദർ ഗോട്ട് സിക്ക് ഓർ ഷീ ഹാഡ് ഫീവർ ഫോർ ഫ്യൂ ഡേയ്സ്. ഓക്കെ. സോ mother-in-law. Mother-in-law is for Twinkle Freddy, but our patient is Ethan Freddy. So from Ethan Freddy's point of view, Emma Freddy is his grandmother. So his grandmother advised, since his mother is having fever, so breastfed for first 3 weeks. After that, his mother got fever for few days. Therefore, his grandmother advised changing baby to formula feed. The grandmother suggested to or advised to change baby to formula feed with extra powder to improve weight gain. So അമ്മയ്ക്ക് പനിയായി. സോ ഗ്രാൻഡ് വന്നു, അഡ്വൈസ് ചെയ്തു ബേബീനെ ഫോർമുല ഫീഡ് വിത്ത് എക്സ്ട്രാ പൗഡർ കൊടുക്കാൻ, സോ ദാറ്റ് ടു ഇംപ്രൂവ് ദ വെയ്റ്റ്. ഓക്കെ. അപ്പോൾ what his mother thinks, Twinkle wishes to breastfeed properly as she believes it would be the best thing. But his mother wants to breastfeed him properly. Right? And the other thing is, Ethan's difficult to bottle feed. Ethan has difficulty to bottle feed. So mother-in-law suggested to change the body formula feed with extra powder, but mother wants to continue with the breastfeeding, and at the same time, in addition, Ethan has difficulty for bottle feeding. Bottle feeding in Ethan ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടും ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഓക്കെ. ഇത്രമാണ് പാസ്റ്റിൽ നടന്ന കാര്യം. And Emma and family was having issues. So we don't need to mention about the family history, family issues between mother and mother-in-law to a lactation consultant. ഒരു lactation consultant-നോട് നമ്മൾ mother-in-law ആയിട്ടുള്ള issues ഒക്കെ പറയേണ്ട കാര്യമുണ്ടോ? So this point can be completely eliminated. So we only need to tell that Ethan was breastfed for first 3 weeks. After that, his mother got fever. So his grandmother advised changing the child to bottle feed with extra powder for weight gain, but his mother prefers bottle feeding and Ethan has difficulty to bottle feed. ഇത്രയും നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു. And look at this point. ഇപ്പോൾ ബോട്ടിൽ ഫീഡിങ്ങിൻ്റെ ഇഷ്യൂസ് എല്ലാം നടന്ന കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞു. എന്നിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് പറഞ്ഞു? Ethan was unsettled during summer heat wave in August. This is also a past information. So നമ്മൾക്ക് എന്ത് പറയാം? ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ MH1 ഇതെഴുതി. സെക്കൻഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു ഈ ഒരു പാരഗ്രാഫ് പറയാം. തേർഡ് വി ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് അബൌട്ട് ദിസ് പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ പോയിൻറ്റ്. ഫോർത്ത് യു ക്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് അബൌട്ട് ദി ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ടി ഇഷ്യൂസ്. ആൻഡ് ആസ് എ ഫിഫ്ത്ത് ലൈൻ യു ക്യാൻ മെൻഷൻ അബൌട്ട് ആഫ്റ്റർ കംപ്ലീറ്റിംഗ് ദി ഇഷ്യൂസ് റിലേറ്റഡ് ടു ബോട്ടിൽ ഫീഡ് യു ക്യാൻ ടെൽ ദാറ്റ് ദ ബേബി ഹാസ് ഇഷ്യൂസ് വിത്ത് സമ്മർ ഹീറ്റ് വേവ്. അതും പാസ്റ്റിൽ നടന്ന കാര്യമാണ്. ഇത്രയും കാര്യം നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു. So in the first body paragraph, we can write both social history plus medical history. ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് നടന്നത് എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു വെച്ചു. Okay. Now we are talking about the present. That is what happened today. Presently ആകെ ഒറ്റ ഡേറ്റേ ഉള്ളൂ. So we only need to write about this information. So 17th September 2020, that is the letterhead date itself. So how we can write today? Today, Ethan and his mother, not Twinkle and baby, but how we have to write Ethan and his mother, because Ethan is the central character, that's the patient. So how we can write today, Ethan and his mother attended for routine 6-week checkup. His mother is concerned about the condition and requested for stool softener or prune juice. Today what happened? Ethan and his mother came for the routine checkup, and his mother is concerned about the condition and requested for a stool softener or prune juice. This happened today. And look at the next data, the objective, the on observation, that is also the today's content. So requested for a stool softener. So what happened? We observed the child. So on observation, what we found? He was slightly lethargic. Is it necessary to mention about the vitals? Yeah, that is fine. That is fine, Aaron. So, is it necessary to write about the vitals to a lactation consultant? Or lactation consultant എന്നോട് നമ്മൾ വൈറ്റൽസിൻ്റെ കാര്യം പറയണോ? Lactation consultant has nothing to do with the vitals, right? So we can skip that part. So how we can write? On observation, he was slightly lethargic. His current weight is 4,300 gram. He had 3 wet nappies in 24 hours because he's having dehydration. So that's why he's having only 3 wet nappies. That should be told to a lactation consultant. So he had 3 wet nappies in last 24 hours. Attended has to be there. Ethan and his mother attended for. That is fine. Today's weight is necessary because the lactation consultant has to know that current weight and a birth weight difference, right? So current weight needs to be mentioned there. Okay. So she had 3 wet nappies in last 24 hours and his urine was dark in color. So today's കാര്യം എന്തേ ഉള്ളൂ? Ethan and his mother attended for a routine 6-week checkup and his mother concerned about the condition and requested for stool softener. And the objective data, how we can write objective data? By mentioning on observation. On observation, he was slightly lethargic. His current weight was this. He had 3 wet nappies in last 24 hours and his urine was dark in color. Okay. So വേണ്ടാത്തതെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? സ്ട്രൈക്ക് ഓഫ് ചെയ്തു. വേണ്ടതെല്ലാം അണ്ടർലൈൻ ചെയ്തു. ഇത്രയുമാണ് ടുഡേയിൽ നടന്നത്. Now we will move on to the discharge plan. So we have done the social history, then the medical history as single paragraph. In the second paragraph, we write the present situation, today's content. And in the last paragraph, that is the discharge plan. So go for the discharge plan one by one. That is, it would be appreciated if you could educate. His birth weight is Aaron. Because birth weight is always constant for everyone, right? Birth weight ഇതായിരുന്നു എന്ന് നമുക്ക് പറയുമോ? നമ്മുടെ ബർത്ത് വെയ്റ്റ് എപ്പോഴും എത്ര നാൾ കഴിഞ്ഞാലും ബർത്ത് വെയ്റ്റ് അതാണ്. സോ ഹിസ് ബർത്ത് വെയ്റ്റ് ഇസ് present tense. Okay. So discharge planil എന്തു പറയാം? It would be appreciated if you could educate Ethan's mother to increase the breastfeed. That is point number 2. Point number 1. Point number 2, kindly check if formula is correctly prepared. That is the second point in the discharge plan. Third point, if continuing formula feed, advise to supplement with boiled and cooled water. That is the third point. Then the fourth point, advise to keep the child cool in hot weather. And fifth point, about the follow-up, so that is, please note, he has a review in 48 hours. He has a review in 48 hours. So this is all about the discharge plan. Okay. Then we can conclude the letter by mentioning, please contact me for further information. Ending, since there is no name for the reader, yours faithfully. And what is the designation of the writer? Maternal and child health nurse. Here, the name of the writer is also mentioned, but that is not relevant. This is a semi-relevant data. Semi-relevant data, it's not necessary to write the name of the writer. So you can simply write it as maternal and child health nurse. Okay. So I hope you people got an idea regarding this letter. Actually, basically I took this letter deliberately because we can discuss 2 main points here. First of all, how to write a letter to a lactation consultant. And the second important point that we discussed today is, see, the patient is here and the purpose is for someone else. So how we can write such kind of scenario. So that is also discussed in this letter. And what we did, first we took the social history and checked whether the social history is relevant for a lactation consultant. If it is relevant, we can write the social history. We can start writing. So we started with the social history, then continued with the medical history. Here the medical history says the 3 weeks after birth. That is all the past. So that's the medical history. And in the second paragraph, you mentioned about the today's content, routine 6-week checkup, and constipation and stool softener. Then all these things happened on observation, and we concluded the letter by mentioning the discharge plan. So I hope you people I read all your messages, and yes, you people are responding very well as well. So I hope you people got an idea regarding this particular letter. So that's all about today. We are about to wind up of today's session. Thank you so much everyone for for your constant participation throughout the letter. And next week we will be meeting very soon with different topics. And for the next week, what I have planned for you people is I'll be focusing more on the sentence construction parts and the relevant ideas. So I'll be coming up with example sentences, and you people have to come up in the live and make the suggestions and get the corrections. Okay. So I'll be coming up with the questions, and you people have to answer. Thereby you can improve your sentence construction. Okay? Yes. Thank you so much everyone. Hi, thank you, Nishma, Danet, Deepa, Amy, Ragi, Prabha, Aaron, Leia. Thank you so much everyone. So I wish you a good day. Thank you. Regarding that should be in the medical history, Deepa. No, that is in the present, not in the history. Okay. Thank you.